You are listening to Studio Live with Mallery Williams. Hello, lovers, coming to you live from Studio B. So, I want to start off by saying thank you to everyone that tuned in last night. I know it was a very last-minute decision for me to go live, but I felt it was time. I think people just get so, they're just so over being on lockdown. I think people start to turn on one another. They start to turn on their own environment. Just all kinds of emotions and feelings and multiple levels of boredom out there. People so bored. And I know you try to find ways to entertain yourself. Well, we do the same thing here as content channel providers. We do the same thing. Trying to find something to pass the time. Luckily, us creative types, it might be a little bit easier for us than some other people. But having said that, I was pleased with the people that did manage to turn out for an unadvertised hangout last night. But listen, it really turned into something special. It was really a good time. Of course, let's see who was there. Rory came on. Corey came on. I thought there was somebody else. Lily Pad came on. I feel like there was one more person. Oh, yes. One of my favorites, Brandon, otherwise known as Rubber Wilbur. Listen, he is so smart and quick as a whip. He really is. He is great for a panel. In my mind, he should host some, or just, I don't know, that man needs to be on the radio or something. I'm just putting it out there. But let me tell you, let's go back to, everyone was great last night, but we did have a newcomer, and that was Lily Pad. She was on by the name of Brooke Lily, which I believe was a former name she used to use. To my understanding, that was her very first time coming up on anyone's panel. I had no idea what to expect because I was only familiar with her from just our exchanges in type, in side chats and comment sections and all that. And when she said, "Hey, how do I get on?" I was like, "Is she even serious?" Is she even serious? She was serious. Mama was serious, honey. And we got her on. It didn't take too long to get her up and her sound good, and she had her little earbuds in. She was like a pro. I'm just telling you what, how you get some people on and they're kind of like duds. It's like, okay, it's fine that you're here, but you're kind of a dud, and we're just going to have to make it work. Not with her. She was born to be on panel, honey. She was so easy to talk with. She was very fluid. She was fun. She was entertaining. She had opinions. Now, she was holding back. It was her first time on. I could tell she was holding back, even though I was trying to, here and there, I'd try to pry a little bit, try to, open that door a little wider. But, I didn't want to push her into any level of uncomfortability. So, but let me tell you, she just did really, really good. And I cannot wait for her to come back on. Like I said, it's only once in a while when you get someone on panel, a newbie as we would call them, and they just take off out the gate running. So listen here, Lily Pad, you did wonderful. I think you're an incredible personality. You're very articulate. And when I say articulate, it's just not, I don't mean that in the way that one just pronounces their words or the words that they use. It's just their expression, their overall expression and ability to say something, their ability to deliver something. And often I say, listen, you just don't have the delivery. You don't have the delivery that it takes, or something like that. Or I might say, listen, I really like your delivery. Well, and that's what I mean when I say that. It's so much more than words. Anybody can use words. It's how you use those words. It's your timing. It's the attitude put behind them. It's all of that stuff. And if you're talking to a crowd, I'm sorry, but you have to be somewhat entertaining, and you have got to be able to camp that up a little bit when need be. You need to know when to pull it back, tone it down. You need to know your ebbs and flows. You need to know where your highs and lows are going to be. And that's all from monitoring the crowd, knowing your strengths as an entertainer or personality, whatever the case may be. So there's that. So thank you, Lily Pad, very much for joining us last night. Truly, that was pretty cool. Now there's a few more. I'm curious. I would love to get. There's a couple more newbies out there who I would love to. To land them up here on panel here at where the hell am I? I don't know. Studio Lovers. I don't even know where I'm at now. I've got so many different channels back and forth. So let's move on to this topic. Let's move, because I feel like this is a topic that's becoming big, and I think it's something that's going to cause a lot of problems and a lot of heartache. So I think we have to talk about it. As you all know, the floodgates have opened with membership, with channel memberships. There was a little confusion at first for some of us. We're like, wait a minute, why do I have this? I didn't hit the criteria. Other people are like, oh my God, we're just that good. We didn't even reach out. YouTube came to us. And, and I'm like, I don't know if that really happened, but, you might want to tone it down. Let's just figure out how this has happened first. Well, obviously, YouTube has relaxed their criteria. They've relaxed it. It used to be you have to have 30,000 members, obviously, or subscribers. Obviously, they did away with that. It was a pretty high bar, to be honest with you. And that really excluded a lot of people, especially when the very same people that were being excluded from this platform could go right over to Patreon. Paid memberships are nothing new. They weren't built 3 days ago. So just know that. This is nothing new. This is nothing, oh my God, now it just happens to be new for YouTube. Other than that, like I said, everybody was going to Patreon. Everybody who wanted to charge for memberships were going to Patreon. They're doing the same darn thing over there. And I'm one of them people that just didn't want to be bothered. I didn't want to go over I looked at it. I went through and I saw what I'd have to do and whatever, and I entertained it for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I'm like, nah, I don't feel like it, because one, it's a totally separate thing over there, and two, I'm like, listen, I'm not a huge channel. I'm not going to get a whole lot of members, and I just don't think it's going to be worth it for me to go over there and deal with that thing back and forth and monitor that on top of everything else that I've got going on. But when I received my email that said, hey, I'm paraphrasing, obviously, for entertainment purposes, but hey, Mallery, hey, girl, this is YouTube. How are you? We do hope you're not having a case of the corona down there. We hope you're clear of the COVID-19. Having said that, listen, Mallery. We have decided to lower our expectations. Lowered expectations. And open up the memberships to virtually anybody and everybody. Okay, so that's what they did, and I jumped on it. Long story short, I'm like, okay, listen, it's all in-house, sure. It's not going to cost me anything here to click a couple buttons, and, it's I don't have to do too much to set it up or whatever, so I'm just going to do it. Because my YouTube channels are different. I want them to be able to have every possibility afforded to them for my personal growth. And that's just the way it is. And I can't make any apologies for that. That's why I've done the same thing with my PayPal chats, my links there. I've done the same thing when I could get super chats. When I qualified for that, of course, I turned that on. And now we have the membership. These are all tools that YouTube affords us or allows us so that we as content creators, personalities, on-air talent, whatever you want to use, we have an opportunity for our fan base to support us financially. It's like a big giant gratuity, a big old tip bucket. Nothing's mandatory. You know what I'm saying? It's just some people, and let's be clear, most people aren't out there tipping. And when most is is putting it lightly. You know what I mean? Because when I say most, it just sounds so flippant. But most, you have to think of how many people are on YouTube, how many people you see in side chats. When I say most, okay, Brandon said it right last night. He was like, listen, I think he said less than 1%, less than 1% actually tip or support people and give them money for their content, whatever. So if you look at it from that aspect, put it into context, you realize how little money there is out there on the table. I notice some people, when they see, well, for me, for example, they'll see somebody give me $10 and then they'll have a holy shit fit because they're like, oh my God, what makes her think she could get $10? But they have no idea how many people have watched not just the video they're watching or the live stream, but if you went back and looked at all my videos before I locked a bunch of them away. But I've got content that was just from years ago that people were still watching. When I say people, not you people, not my regulars. No, regulars, we're not watching anything beyond what happened yesterday. Let's be real. But all those millions and millions of aimless people in YouTube that somehow just land on somebody's videos randomly. That's how it happens. So they're not giving me any money, right? they're not giving me any money. They don't know me. They're not going to support me. They don't know anything about me like that. So, don't get so bent out of shape when you see a content provider that you may or may not really care for get $10 or $20 here or there. In the grand scheme of things, I'm not buying a Jaguar anytime soon. I'm not going to be living in a palatial townhouse anytime soon. You know what I mean? Just keep it in a context, people. It is a way for our fans to show some love and support. It's really that simple. Now, let us kind of move on to where I think this is going to end up, though. I am afraid that people are going to forget the fact that Patreon has been going on all this time. And that would be a big mistake. If people start suddenly, they can't remember Patreon and they are focusing in solely on the YouTube memberships, there's going to be a problem because it's going to cause a lot of animosity. Because if they forget Patreon, they're going to have this feeling of suddenly, all of a sudden, people are offering memberships. Well, in a way, it might be all of a sudden for YouTube, but Patreon has always been there all along. And if you've been on YouTube, you've heard of Patreon, because that's how people would advertise their Patreons through YouTube. No different than they would if they were doing it through YouTube the whole time. And now instead of having to say Patreon, they can just say your membership, your channel membership. And the link is there for everybody. It's really handy dandy, okay? But I do believe it's going to cause some problems, not only from just the people watching, but from content providers, because what happens is there does seem to be always, on one level or another, there's always a little bit of animosity building up between content providers. They'll say, no, I'm just confident. But we know that's bullshit. We know that's bullshit. So the thing is, through that bullshit, we all still have to remember, wait a minute, nothing's new here. There's really nothing to see here, people. There's nothing to see here. There's nothing new happening. Patreon versus YouTube memberships. There's nothing new here on the plate. So we just got to remember that as we're going forward. We also have to remember this, that when it comes to joining someone's membership, not only myself, but every other content provider out there has got to be realistic. And they're going to have to be able to put their ego in their back pocket. You just calm it down. Because they may see a follower of theirs or even a friend of theirs become a member of someone else's channel, right? And secretly they're thinking, well, you better member mine. You better remember mine. And then they don't, and then they don't, and then you're just waiting. Listen, people. This is where reality sets in. You can't expect every person out there to pick you all the time to follow, to become a member of. You also can't expect that everybody is going to be able to have the monthly donations to follow everybody that they love. They have to be selective. Maybe it's first come, first serve for them. Maybe it's, hey, I joined so and so already, and I can't afford to follow another one. Maybe it'll be a situation where they'll cancel out on somebody to follow somebody else. We know that will happen. We know that's going to happen. We know that people will pull their donations and back out for 1,000,005 reasons, which is, I would say, side note, footnote. If you're going to follow somebody, make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons. And to me, the right reason really is that you truly just want to show support for that person. Period. Just for that person. And then everything else is secondary. For that person first, and then their ability, their content, their personality, the hours of entertaining they give you, the laughs they give you, whatever. But I'm going to assure you right now, if you can't first be willing to support that person because you think something of that person, anything else beyond that, you might as well not. Because you're not going to really be able to stick that out for any length of time. Because if you're doing it for their content, well, eventually they're going to do the wrong content that you don't like, and you're going to pull your donation. Or they're not going to do enough content, and therefore you're going to pull your donation. It's stuff like that. So I'm giving you all this talk because I've been around this YouTube area for so long, and I know how personalities work. I consider myself a self-proclaimed specialist on human nature. I really do. And my track record is pretty darn good throughout life. I have to make it quite clear here. As a content provider, I'm speaking to you content providers out there now. Here's the thing. If you have any ambition to also offer memberships on your channel, I would say to this, please, think twice before purchasing a membership level through me, okay? Because I'm going to tell you why. Here's the thing. This is something that I can't get behind, and I know it could easily lead to this, right? And to avoid sour feelings, I'd rather put it out there, and I'd rather help other people to navigate it as well. Because, it's a sticky situation. Well, I'm here, honey. I'm here to clear it up. I'm here to smooth out the dance floor. I will not be normally, anything is possible, but as a regular business practice, I will not be joining or buying other people's memberships. Wow, they're like, Mallery, really? Why? Well, because this is why. I am not the consumer. This is how I see it. I am the entertainment. Okay? I am part of the entertainment system here. I'm not the consumer. Now, it is great that other content providers, we can all appreciate each other's art. We can all just kind of deal with one another's dysfunctions and have some level of camaraderie. But at the same time, I'm not the target consumer. All right? We have to remember that we are the ones, we're the minority. The minority of YouTube participants are its content providers. The overwhelming out of this world majority are the people that simply log in and watch, and then occasionally comment. That is the majority of YouTube, and that is my target audience. That is who I'm really here to entertain, the masses. That's why when I say the masses, whether the masses show up to my channel or not, that's beside the point. The point is, when they get here, there will be some sort of entertainment for the masses. because you never know who's going to stumble on your channel, who isn't. But I can't. It doesn't make much sense to me that if you're going to turn on your PayPal links, your super chats, you're going to pay on your memberships and all that. This is all a way so that we can generate income of some sort on some level. You have money coming in, you're filing a tax return, that's income. It's income. So to me, it doesn't make much sense that I'm going to sit there and turn on all my open signs and sell myself on the YouTube street corner any which way I can, in the most respectable way that I possibly can, only to then join someone else's channel and pay them a membership fee. That doesn't make sense to me. So I would make this quite clear to anybody out there. If you are a content provider, please, I appreciate it if you think that much of me and you want to become a member, but just know that most likely, for the reasons I just stated, I will not be, it's not going to be a membership for membership, kind of like the old sub for sub. It's not how I operate. And I hope people can take that message to heart. Doesn't mean girl, I love you. Sir, I love you. But, YouTube put these things available for us for a particular reason, which I've already stated as well. So to try to utilize those tools to do what they're intended to do, and then you're kind of, it's like, what do they say, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 1 step forward, 2 steps, or whatever it is. And this is not my gig. I like to do what makes sense, what feels like makes sense in my mind, at least. So there's that. Now, we've said that. Let's continue on with, I think we need to touch on a little bit more that people, we touched on the content providers and the creators, but all of you out there watching from afar, or doing the side chat hustles and all that good stuff, you have to have a level of patience, not only with me, but with all of us. Anyone who's participating in this YouTube membership thing, whether it be your friends or whatever it is, you got to have a level of patience. You got to be cool. You got to understand that for now, until people kind of get established with their memberships and their audience knows it's available, and the whole goal is to get as many as you can. Let's be real. The whole goal is to get as many as you can in the smart way. I'm not saying give away your memberships. That's just stupid. In my opinion, if you're giving away your memberships for $1 and everybody joins your membership, listen, there's nothing special about that. That's not how it was intended to be. That's not what YouTube, that wasn't their brainiac idea. Let's, in fact, I think that's where YouTube might go wrong. Letting people offering memberships for $1.99, or something like that, or $1.50, whatever, because I think that's kind of counterproductive. And when your entire following is suddenly a member, well, there's nothing exclusive about that. There's never going to be anything exclusive about that. So it just kind of, it defeats the purpose, in my opinion. So that's why I do offer 3 solid levels. In my, no way would I have participated in this if, listen, you can participate, Mallery, but you can't charge any more than $2. Like, no, I'm not, I don't know. I guess, I don't know. It would have been very exciting, right? I'm like, well, there's not going to be anything exclusive because everybody, pretty much, everybody, even my haters might spend a couple bucks a month just to continue hating on me. So I'm like, all right. But I do like the fact that you can have different levels. And with the different levels, you get, you just get a different interaction. You get a different interaction, you get more content, and you just become a little bit more involved with people depending on their levels. So I think that's great. So you got to be patient, that we're going to be pumping the hell. We are going to be pumping the hell out of our memberships. You can probably bank on that for the next couple months. The more people that are going to be opening these things up, the harder it's going to be to get your members, because for the reasons I stated earlier, it's kind of like, you can't expect anyone to join more than 2, maybe 3, and that would be pushing it for somebody, because you have to think these little monies are coming out of someone's account every week, or every month, which is another reason why I say you really should be in it to win it for that person, not politics. This is something you just can't do for YouTube politics and all that drama, because it's not going to last. I mean, you want to sustain your donations. I would say, listen, in my opinion, if you're going to sign up to sustain someone's channel, and you should at least in your mind, you should have a goal that you would like to do this for a year. So whether it's $10, $5, $20, $3, whatever it is, just you go in with the mindset of, I really like this person, I'd like to support this person this year. Not forever, not for the rest of their lives. Like, you gotta have an end window in time, and you should probably let that person know. It wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt to let that person know. Listen, Mallory, here's the deal. I really want to be your lover. Sorry, I couldn't help it. It just kind of came out. And I'm gonna join your membership, but I can only do it for like 6 months, or I'll do it for like 3 months, or I can do it a year. Whatever it is, unless you're really upset me, then I'm pulling out. Okay, I'm pulling out. If I wake up one day and decide I can't stand you, I mean, full disclosure, I'm gonna cut you off. But I think you should do that because it gives, it will keep, it'll keep the content providers on their toes a little bit. They'll know what time of day it is. They know that nothing lasts forever. It'll also help them project what's coming in. Anybody who has jobs out there, or side hustles, or maybe you wait tables a couple nights a week or something, whatever it is, you try your best, because life requires planning. Life requires money for planning. You know what I'm saying? So even if you can't get an exact figure, you would like to at least be able to bank on, well, I know based on my memberships, I at least got this much coming in next month, or this month, or whatever. That helps a human life so much, in so many ways that I think people forget. What if somebody's trying to make a car payment, insurance payment, and they're using their YouTube as to subsidize where they're falling short? You just have to think, keep these things in mind. When it comes to these memberships, it can be a really, really good thing for everybody involved. True. It can also be a very ugly thing if people don't have clear communication, realistic expectations. Realistic expectations, people. All right? Sally Mae YouTube cannot donate to every single friend she has and become a member. Sorry, that's just the way it is. So don't be trying to sit there and guilt trip Sally Mae YouTube. It's rude. It's just rude. And there you have it. So, what else do we have? Nam ho renge kyo, nam yo ho renge kyo. Is there anything I need to bring to the table? Nam yo renge kyo, nam yo ho renge kyo. Is there anything I need to bring to the table? Anything at all, please. Open your heart to me. I'm sorry, see what happens? These things just come in my head. I don't know what to do with them. Let me look at the time here. I think I've been going for like a half hour nonstop. No editing. This was straight through live, people. So it is what it is. It is what it is. And this is why we call it Studio Live with Mallery Williams. Until next time, take care.